By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I constitute this meeting a lawful congregation of the University of Venda.
Please be seated. Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Venda, Dr. Bernard Ntambaleni. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research and Postgraduate Study, Professor Nosisi Feza. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Corporate Services, in absentia, Dr. Robert Martin. University of Venda Registrar, Advocate Edward Lambani. Former Member of Council and his wife, Mr. Shumani Ravuanzwo. Executive Dean of the Faculty of Management, Commerce and Law, Professor Barwa Kanyane. Executive Dean, Faculty of Science, Engineering and Agriculture, Professor Ntebogang Mogalaka Fleischmann. Executive Dean, Faculty of Humanities, Social Sciences and Education, Professor Bongani Bantwini. Acting Executive Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Mercy Mulaudzi. Other academic heads, academics from all the faculties. Acting Director of Student Affairs, Mr. Mukeli. SRC President, Mr. Smile Mangani, and members of your cabinet. Administrative and support staff. President of the Convocation of the University of Venda, Mr. Sylvester Mutadi, traditional and religious leaders, sponsors, members of the media, parents and guardians of our students, honored guests, and above all, and especially, our students who are graduating today. Allow me to welcome you to the spring graduation of the University of Venda 2021. It gives me particular pleasure to be able to welcome you in person for the first time since the start of the COVID pandemic. This year has been a year of great hardship, the second year of the pandemic, where many people lost loved ones to the pandemic, many people lost their livelihoods. But it is no coincidence that in the Chinese language, the written language, the character that indicates crisis also indicates opportunity. And at the University of Venda, we see this crisis as an opportunity to evaluate, rethink, and redirect the way in which we carry out our core business of teaching and learning, research and postgraduate studies, and community engagement. We were forced at the start of this pandemic to transition very rapidly from our traditional way of teaching and learning and assessment, when it was difficult to bring all our students onto campus in safety. And I want to pay tribute today to the way in which both our academics and our students adapted to the changed circumstances. We have had to employ a multitude of different means and technologies to deliver the curriculum. Our students had to cope with many challenges around the quality and accessibility to devices, accessibility of Wi-Fi connection, but they rose to the occasion magnificently, and we are extremely proud of the way in which you have all adapted to the new normal. The Senate of the University has approved a new way of looking at how we assess our students, and in line with best practice within the higher education sector, we are now moving away from the overemphasis on summative assessment in the form of examinations. And going forward, we will develop a best practice assessment regime that will consist mostly of continuous assessments that will ensure that students engage with the curriculum from the first day of lectures, and that will be truly formative in the way that continuous assessments are supposed to be. Vice-Chancellor, the primary strategic thrust of our university is student-centeredness and engaged scholarship. As academics, we should continuously interrogate and try to fully understand the meaning of these two concepts, so that we can implement them in a way that will truly distinguish the University of Venda from its peers. Already we are rethinking how we offer support to our students, especially at first-year level, to improve student success and well-being. And especially in the context of COVID-19, we know that the support to our students cannot only be academic. It also has to be psychosocial, and it has to be financial to the best of our ability. Our students are what we are all here for. From the Council of the University to the university management to our academic and administrative and support staff. The success of the 653 graduandi that will be awarded their qualifications today is our success. And graduation ceremonies like this one today give us the rare opportunity to celebrate students' success together. Welcome once more then to all gathered here, and let the celebration begin. Thank you.
Venda
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the certificates and degrees that are reflected on the program to the candidates that the Executive Deans will present to you.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I confer diplomas and degrees.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following qualification: Diploma in Nursing Science. Munyai Rine Gloden. Novella Doreen. Magubelana Tanyani. Muda utakarani Ivy.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following qualifications: Diploma in Freshwater Technology, Bachelor of Environmental Sciences, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Technology, Bachelor of Earth Sciences in Hydrology and Water Resources, Bachelor of Earth Sciences in Mining and Environmental Geology, and Bachelor of Urban and Regional Planning. Bila Tuanano Monica. Chauke Leonard Langutani. Chauke Mpolayeng Belinda. Chauke Yingisani. Chavalala Alice. Dombo Murendeni. Libya Tepile Criselda. Leshi Kaugelo. Mabade Muneiwa. Mufandilani Tavelo. Makari Tendo Confidence. Mangoro Mari Takalani. Mantata Khumujo. Mashau Tendani. Musubi Mundiva Hatu. Matsimela Mangakani Koketo. Mkize Pumzile Miranda. Ngomezulu Priska. Mukwati Dagalo. Muneri Aliwani Innocent. Ndaza Mularo Naomi. Ndubeni Mufarisi. Negukula Andivaho. Nechita Zwani Ulenda. Nemakuvuni Faro Iris. Nemukavani Funzo. Funzo. Nengwenani Moufe Rina. Pefadi Ntswaki Caroline. Pir Nima Yusuf. Randau Lutendo Dorina. Sipuru Maserole. Sete Mako Susan. Siobo Tagalani. Tiba Mudalo Priscilla. Chivenga Pindulo Precious. Lizade Mpho Hedwig. Lubengo Mukonzwawote. Mabuda Mawela. Maginya Aluwani. Mahlangu Mpho Prince. Mahlasi Mantieng Liza. Malindi Mzwali. Mandiwana Mpho Shelley. Matonsi Nhlubuko Proceed. Matiani Innocent Tlangelani. Matseho Vakala Miriam. Mawela Mueletezi. Mbezi Dagalo. Mohlala Lisiba Tudo. Mungwe Nzalama Quinton. Mwalusi Nzumbululo Azania. Mudau Lufuno. Mudau Ndibo. Mudau Ruzani. Mudau Tompo Olga. Mukwevo Andani Martin. Mlaudzi Ndibuo. Munyai Precious Tivileli. Munyamela Gudani. Ndou Pindulo Enoch. Nemaname Bugala. Nechambuchezi Fano. Nechieni Shonisani Edna. Ramadzia Doli Titelo. Rapasha Phozo. Rathogwa Mugube. Ravele Mponyana. Shibambo Charlotte Mpo Fatima. Sikomo Ndayezo. Tanyani Rolibua. Theka Consley. Chikobi Ndiafi Confidence. Chisikawe Uchehone Faith. Tsiri Makina Joseph. Chauke Lisbeth. Hlungwani Ndiyiso Privi. Magadzu Azuihangwisi. Malowa Tanyani Chifiwa. Matotoka Tepo Alfred. Mazibuko Ngobile Kanesia. Ndou Wahawo Chilizi. Netangula Tabelo. Tiambara Patutezo. Baloi Tinyiko. Lidowo Mashudu Uday. Mabala Delicia. Mabasa Tinyuko Galma. Mafukata Zivuya Petunia. Makahane Chanduko. Matada Fatani. Machisewe Musundiwa Monica. Mpepu Tirelezo. Mudau Ernest. Mudau Rotsizwa Moses. Murungweni Kundai Thelma. Nembulo Ndovu. Chweni Tuli Adelaide. Adelaide. Ngobeni Kulani Cyril. Ratau Liva Mampare. Signolo Makoma Kogi. Shikwambana Zanele Geraldine. Shipalana Kangelani. Sithole Mkateko Veronica. Bopape Khomotso Masetsa. Hamisi Tabelo. Masokana Chifiwa Eric. Matape Tabang Daniel. Mpapuli Pindulo. Mpunzi Ntabiseng Lucia. Mulaudzi Mukonza wote. Mulelo Takalo. Chidumo Millicent Ndovu. Baloi silence. Korombi Kanukani. Lamola Tsepiso. Ligege Rofiwa. Marema Mashudu. Mashanyu Makatu Cassius. Matoma Ndibo. Mabale Honest. Muremi Tapelo Saral. Mapata Takani Pel. Mlaudzi Lufuno Teddy. Maluleke Shongani. Moloiwa Tanyan. Munyai Rofiwa Innocent. Nedambale Pandelan. Nekawambe Mkondeleli. Nepawe Rabelan. Nesane Wuwawo. Neshehe Lutendo. Tinabe Tilawi Messi. Chandamule Fulufelo. Nevumbani Abasei. Pir Muskim. Siashala Makanye Pesi. Sekula Mpho Lillian. Sereto Ruzan. Khwedi Kidiboni Dodo. Molatani Kwena. Mahandana Mpho Millicent. Mbezi Tanganezani. Negova Patusezo Patrick. Sambo Yulenda Rulani. Sigama Anthony.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following qualifications: Bachelor of Psychology, Bachelor of Science in Nutrition, Bachelor of Science in Recreation and Leisure Studies, and Bachelor of Science in Sport and Exercise Science. Juma Toliswa Medal. Maswelele Mbabalelo. Mulewa Manji Lucy.
Muofen Divaleni. Mlechimboni Wuchu Vivian. Nkuna Tinzalo Precious. Shiluvane Fikile. Koza Joy. Madiva Catuchero. Mbasiki Dilivalani. Mbokota Nkatekani, California. Ndoma Toma Shudu Pel. Nemutu Di Tsepo. Rangwa Fumulani Shane. Mbezi Caroline Humbulani. Novelan Sobo Kotni.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the following qualifications: Bachelor of Environmental Sciences Honors and Bachelor of Science Honors. Baloi Nico Ivan. Lelaka Dimakato. Manuga Zwivuya. Mlaudzi Maleka. Ngobeni Masingita. Ratibado Mulalo. Sishoke Rabelan. Chisebe Busovelo Iris. Chikororo Karende. Muhuluhulu Tondani. Mbengeni Amfarisaho Orifina. Mtombeni Clarence. Mudau Moufe Presence. Netsibangani Fremley. Ntlemo Felicia Twananani. Raidani Jeanette. Shatei Hope Kuziva Kwashe. Toga Nixon. Vice Chancellor, I have the pleasure of introducing the following qualifications: Master of Environmental Sciences, Master of Earth Sciences in Mining and Environmental Geology, and Master of Science. Mugoma Promise Tepiso. Marakalala Maliti Emmanuel. Mlaudzi Isaac. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Mabaso Shitakiso Yuvodia. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Makado Kumbela Priscilla. Malapani Sinsinetia. Mugari Tifuluani. Nekabambe Humbelani Helga. Nemalamangwa Ndisefelafi Inos. Rachilengo Mampaga. Marumo Buchilo Prudence. Mangani Lemukani Aaron. Mudau Pechonia Tendo. Sipoyo Derek Opa. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Taumemba Murendeni. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Nengovela Ndamulelo. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Vele Tigezani Geraldine. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Vukeya Tembani Silas. This qualification is awarded with a distinction. Shabangu Charlotte Beauty. Neluonde Mboneni. Nefumbada Colin. This qualification is awarded with a distinction.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the following qualifications: Master of Public Health and Master of Nursing. Kadi Gwendoline. Matebula Mushe Owen. Mpego Keteni Patricia. Pampe Sezani Sheli. Mama Charaga Chinyadzo. Title: Factors contributing to absenteeism and their effects on student nurses at the Limpopo College of Nursing. Supervisor Prof. N.H. Shilubane, Co-Supervisor Senior Prof. L.B. Kosa. Mukansi Chuki Sarah. Title: Midwife's Knowledge and Skills of Diagnosing Hypertensive Disorders During Pregnancy in Selected Facilities in Bembe District, South Africa. Supervisor Prof. M.S. Maputle, Co-Supervisor Dr. S.A. Murondo. Shinyawani Rulani Shila. Title: Provision of Early Antenatal Care at Chinomucha Local Area, Limpopo Province, South Africa. Supervisor Dr. T. Marwela, Co-Supervisor Prof. M.S. Maputle. Rarutaga Muchochomi Nelson. Title: Challenges faced by family caregivers of mental health care users in Tulamela Municipality, Limpopo Province. Supervisor Prof. N.H. Shulubane, Co-Supervisor Dr. S.A. Murondo.
Vice Chancellor, I have the pleasure and honor of presenting the following qualification: Doctor of Philosophy in Urban and Regional Planning and Doctor of Philosophy. Zorio Wanzwanai Wendy, the title of her thesis, Spatial Injustice and Street Spaces of Selected Small Rural Towns in Vhembe District of Limpopo Province, South Africa. The study was promoted by Dr. E. Ingwane, Professor J. Chakwizira, and Professor B. Bikam. I invite the supervisor to read the citation. Wendy Zorio interrogated the manifestation of spatial injustices on street spaces in the small rural towns of Thohoyandou, Musina, and Louis Trichardt in South Africa. This research is part of a National Research Foundation-funded postgraduate collaborative training project that focused on resilience and spatial justice in South Africa's built environment. Streets of small rural towns of South Africa facilitate movement, meaning, and meetings, and thus are spaces of contestations and negotiations. Spatial injustice on street spaces of small rural towns are therefore produced and reproduced every day as people interact with space, as well as through urban planning, design, and management imperatives. Often, the spatial injustices are inherited from the historical past and the geographic location of towns. Wendy developed an integrated street space spatial injustices analysis framework to analyze and understand spatial justice in small rural towns. 3 conference proceedings, 2 journal articles, and a book chapter were published from this thesis. Rendani Nechikweta. The title of his thesis, Multi-Scale Modeling of Environmentally Transmitted Infectious Diseases. The study was supervised by Professor Garira and Dr. Matebula. I invite Dr. Matebula to read the citation.
In the field of mathematical biology, we are beginning to witness an overwhelming appreciation of multi-scale modeling as an essential and suitable scientific method as opposed to a traditional single-scale modeling approach in the studying of infectious disease dynamics. Yet, there is still a lack of evidence that generally indicates which among the different categories of multi-scale models of infectious disease system is more appropriate to use in multi-scale modeling of infectious disease dynamics at different levels of their organization. This research study is the first of its kind to compare suitability of the 2 fundamental categories of multi-scale models of infectious disease systems, which are nested multi-scale models and embedded multi-scale models in characterization infectious disease dynamics. Our results can be generalized to imply that for any level of organization of an infectious disease system, if the disease has a replication cycle at the microscale, the nested multiscale and the embedded multiscale model provide the same accuracy in predicting disease dynamics. However, when the disease has no replication cycle at the microscale, only the embedded multiscale model is appropriate for characterizing disease dynamics. We anticipate that this study will enable modelers to choose appropriate multiscale model category in the study of infectious diseases dynamics. Well done, Dr. Rendani.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following qualifications: Doctor of Nursing and Doctor of Philosophy in Public Health. Katekani Joyce Shirinza. The title is A Model to Enhance the Continuity of Postnatal Care by Primary Caregivers in Selected Districts of Limpopo Province. Promoter, Prof. M.S. Maputle. Co-promoter, Dr. T. Marwera. I will invite the co-promoter, Dr. T. Marwera, to read the citation.
Thank you for the opportunity. Katekani Joyce Shirinza responded to the global call to make sure that we go according to the Sustainable Development Goal, specifically concerning goal number 3, to make sure that the citizens are in good health. In this notion, Katekani observed regarding the priority of the minister in South Africa to say we need to reduce the neonatal and maternal mortality, in which historically South Africa in all the country in BRICSA is number 89, meaning that we are amongst the top 100 that are not able to save their mother and babies. And mother were found to be dying within 3 days after immediately discharged from the hospital. And Katekani saw it necessary to develop a model that is going to bridge the gap between the time when the mother is discharged from the hospital and when the mother is at home. That is why she developed a model to enhance community of postnatal care by primary caregivers in a selected district of Limpopo Province. Postnatal women are discharged within 6 hours after delivery, and it's documented that about 3/4 of neonatal and maternal morbidity and mortality occur during the first weeks of life in the home environment. The purpose of this study was to develop a model to enhance the continuity of postnatal care by primary caregivers in the selected districts of Limpopo Province, South Africa. The study was conceptualized within the Donabedian theoretical framework that has 3 components, namely structure, process, and outcome. The empirical phase of the study used convergent parallel mixed method. Qualitative data was collected through in-depth one-to-one interviews. In quantitative approach, non-probability sampling was done of 100 midwives working in a postnatal care setting. Trustworthiness and reliability were ensured, and ethical consideration were adhered to. Based on the empirical findings by Walker and Evans, a method followed was to conduct a conceptual analysis of the core concept, community-based postnatal care. A model containing guidelines for the action plans to operationalize the enhancement of community-based postnatal care was developed, and recommendations for nursing practice and nursing research were made. I thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Katekani Chirinzi.
Manganyi Bumani Solomon, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Health, and the title is Development of a Strategy to Promote Effective Management of Mental Health Care Users in Mental Health Establishments in Limpopo Province, South Africa. Promoter, Dr. J.T. Mabunda. Co-promoter, Prof. L. Makado. I will request Dr. Chitangano, an associate professor in the Department of Public Health, to read the citation.
Manganya Bumani's thesis focused on developing the strategy to improve mental health care services in Limpopo Province. Despite the availability of the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan 2013 to 2020, the mental health care services remain very poor, and mental health care establishments are still insufficient to cater for the needs of mental health care users. His study comprised of two phases, which were the needs assessment and development of a strategy. Bumani used a convergent mixed method approach in his study, which was guided by a modified precede-proceed model. The findings showed that structural related challenges, inadequate management of mental health care users when admitted, improper application of safety measures in the wards, poor mental health care users' support and insufficient knowledge regarding mental health care led to relapses and readmissions. To mitigate the challenges, Bumani developed a strategy to improve mental health care services in Limpopo Province with the stakeholders, using the criteria from the diffusion innovation theory model, applying behavior change techniques, and consulting policies and guidelines in mental health. The developed strategy has 4 components: increased knowledge and encourage a healthy attitude about mental health, improve social environment, improve and develop social skills of mental health care users, and improve self-efficiency to obtain and take treatment by mental health care users. Congratulations, Mr. Manager.
ke bata impa kita bahuya para kita badi puo yawe tabatu adife oh dinna ke bata impa kita bahuya para kita badi puo yawe tabatu
Chancellor of the University of Venda, Advocate Mujanku Gumbi in absentia, esteemed members of the University of Venda Council and Senate, the Senior District Manager of the Department of Basic Education, Ms. Rabuanzo, the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Teaching and Learning, Professor Crawford, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Research and Postgraduate Studies, Professor Feza, the Registrar of the University of Venda, Advocate Lambani, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Agriculture, Professor Mukhalaka Fleischmann, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Social Science and Education, Professor Bantwini, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Management, Commerce and Law, Professor Kanyane, Acting Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Morauzi, academic staff, President of the University of Venda Convocation, Mr. Mutadi, Acting Director of the Student Affairs, Mr. Mukel, President of the Student Representative Council, Mr. Smile Mangani, and members of the SRC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a momentous occasion for the university as we celebrate the spring graduation ceremony. Students enroll at universities with the hope to complete their degrees. The unfortunate reality is that not all of them are able to make it through their studies. Some fail, others for the other reasons simply drop out before completing their studies. Earlier this year in July, 2,578 students graduated at this university. And in this November graduation ceremony, we celebrate the success of a further 522 students who also completed their degrees. This brings the total to 3,100. It is my singular honor as the Vice Chancellor and the Principal of this university to say to you, your relatives and parents and friends, congratulations. Well done to you, graduates, for your dedication to your studies and to your kindred for supporting you while you are on your academic odyssey. Your years of toil and sacrifices have finally paid off. Graduations are indeed exciting times, not only for the student graduating or their parents, but also the lecturers that were involved in guiding the student throughout their studies. To the academic staff who guided you and the administrative staff who offered tremendous support in your journey, I say thanks to you as well. Graduation ceremonies also affords us a unique opportunity for us to reflect on the journey we have made collectively as students, as parents, as lecturers, as we traverse in this quest of knowledge. Need I remind you how difficult the past 2 years have been to all of us? We are still facing a very difficult road ahead of us. The pandemic is not yet over. There are still many more work ahead of us. COVID-19 continues to be part of our lives and is still infecting people on a daily basis. It has ravaged our economies, stolen the lives of our loved ones, and imposed serious challenges even in the realm of academics. We are glad as university management that you've made it against all odds to receive your degree today. The great philosopher Aristotle postulated the following, that education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity, close quote. I am proud that even during the struggles against COVID, you sought refuge from education. Your graduation today epitomizes the strength of education over adversity. It is your quest for knowledge that I'm proud of, and all the staff of the university that are here today to help you in your journey. This zest of knowledge is what has brought us together in this momentous occasion. However, a question might be asked, knowledge for what purpose? Hence, I've decided to focus my brief talk this afternoon on the purpose of education, the role of universities, and the place of graduates in society. Very few of us, academics, parents, and students alike, take our time to ponder the question about the purpose of education. This is not because we do not value education, nor we take it for granted. The dominant view on the purpose of education is that of its utilitarian value, its ability to equip people with necessary skills for them to earn a living. This is indeed a critical area of life. For how else will people survive, build economics without skills? It is for this reason that the University of Venda places an emphasis on practical areas of learning to enable our graduates to be competitive in various places of work. Important as that may be, to view the role of education through the prism of utilitarianism is too limited. Education plays a greater role in shaping the citizenship than just imparting the skills to earn a living. Hence my second view, equally important and not often understated, of the role of education in shaping the characteristics of students. I am reminded of the ideas of a Swiss philosopher, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who expressed the following in his acclaimed manuscript, which is titled Emile. This is what Rousseau said: "Plants are formed by cultivation, men by education." Close quote. We are born weak, we need strength. We are born entirely destitute, we need help. We are born ignorant, we need understanding. All that we lack at birth and need in maturity is given to us by education. Whilst Rousseau was talking about what we today refer as a basic education, his reflection, written in 1762, almost 260 years ago, remains relevant to the discourse on the purpose of education, including higher education. From Rousseau's postulation, we understand that the role of education is to shape the character of a man. Thus, a balanced view of the purpose of education is the one that integrates the two roles, developing the technical capacity of the students on one hand, and also shaping the character on the other hand. By so doing, education must produce well-rounded individuals who not only excel in the field of expertise, but are socially conscious individuals with the urge to contribute to the development of humanity. A friend of mine forwarded me a message, which was a letter that was allegedly written by a survivor of the Nazi concentration camp at the end of the Second World War. The letter was addressed to teachers, and it stated the following: "I am a survivor of the concentration camp. My eyes saw what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by learned engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and babies shot and burned by high school and college graduates. So I am suspicious of education. My request to you is, help your students to become human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters. skilled psychopath, educated illiterates. Reading, writing, arithmetic is important if it is only to serve and making our children much more humane. We too also in this region, not very long, witnessed the failure of the ethical leadership, which led to the demise of one of the fastest mutual bank, what they call the Vendor Building Society, the VBS, in the hands of graduates who destroyed the future of the elderly who placed their long-end investment in that particular bank. The question that may be posed today is whether as a University of Venda, we have given you as graduates what you lack at birth and that which you need to enable you to lead a meaningful life in the societies. There is no better way to answer this question than to consider our strategic plan and the performance plans whose common objective is to position the University of Venda for relevance and impact. Our vision of the university is that we should be leading in engaged scholarship. We have spelled it clearly that our mission is to produce graduates that are locally relevant and globally competitive. We take cognizance of the fact that to realize our vision and to fulfill our mission, we have to be driven by the values of equality and excellence, espouse accountability, practice transparency, and be open to public scrutiny, promote respect, value integrity, embrace diversity, promote social responsibility, protect and preserve our environment. These are the values that we seek to promote and to inculcate among our students and their community at large. I would like to thank the parents for showing your confidence in our institution and its programs, and our staff by enrolling your children to the University of Venda. The University of Venda, as you know, has been founded about 4 decades ago. We will be celebrating our 40th anniversary early next year. The University of Venda continues to contribute enormously to the socio-economic development not only of the province, but to the entire country by producing graduates that occupy significant positions in both public and private sector. Our university staff with doctoral qualifications has increased to 41%, which is above the national average of 37% in the entire education sector. The number of our national rated researchers continues to grow. Our researchers are making good strides in innovation. We now have 11 complete registered patents in different fields, including in the field of health, food technology, engineering, and management sciences. In line with our efforts to build research capacity, we are delighted that the Department of Science and Innovation and the National Research Foundation recognize our progress and renew the hosting of the DST NRF Research Initiative on Biodiversity Value Change in the Vembe Biosphere Reserve. We've understood very well what Manuel Castells and Peter Hall said when they observed that universities are to the knowledge economy what coal mines were to the industrial economy, close quote. We have understood this to mean that we too can be catalyst to South Africa's economic competitiveness in the world. Our view is that universities should lead the charge in addressing the developmental challenges by providing relevant contextualized knowledge, insights, and locally relevant recommendations for policy formulations and implementation, solving existential problems, creating technological products, and producing new knowledge that can be adapted for economic and political and social improvement. We recognize this imperative to revise our curricula appropriately to respond to the demands in the knowledge economy. There is a mounting pressure for universities to sharpen their technical edge as well as to enhance their capacities to produce a critical mass of skills required in the knowledge economy. I am glad that as a university we have responded to this demand without losing sight of our responsibility to mold the character of our students to become change agents and active citizens of our societies. We strive for the academic excellence and leadership. However, ours is not excellence without a soul that Harry Lewis lamented about in his book in 2007. But it is a university playing a critical role in the transformation agenda of its country. We see our role as contributing to the molding and grooming of young people into adults. We will take the important responsibilities in society. True to this is the role of commitment to develop our university into what Harry Lewis calls wells from which imagination, invention, creativity are drawn to benefit society, where the future leaders learn the lessons, good and bad, where discoveries and innovations will be the source of national prosperity in the coming centuries. I believe UNIVEN has not only created a conducive environment for our graduates or future leaders to learn good lessons, but also created a vibrant intellectual space for our students to be relevant locally and competitive globally as articulated in our 2025 strategic plan. I believe your discoveries and innovation will be the source of national pride and prosperity for years to come. What then is the place of graduates in society? We are living in a society that is fraught with many challenges: social, economic, and political. It is a society where there is a growing culture of the pursuit of what Mahatma Gandhi called the 7 sins. And these are wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and politics without principle. All these challenges cannot be overcome without an educated citizenry that sees its role as change agents. It is for these reasons that among the goals of our 2025 vision is to provide our students with technical skills and competence that will enable them to be change agents. Being agents of change means becoming a good role model to your youth. It also means playing your part as active citizens and getting involved in the development of your communities. It means never to be silent when things go wrong in your presence. Always position yourself on the side of the truth. We find ourselves in a situation where education is under siege, where public figures demonize those who are educated and spite them of being clever blacks. We have also noted a growing phenomenon in which people get to be appointed into positions for which they are not qualified to hold. The greatest tragedy of this growing phenomenon is that our youth will no longer see education as a guarantor of success. But if you, the educated class, become champion of hedonism or get involved in the corrupt activities, you run the risk of sending a wrong message about education. I hope you, the graduate, understand that you have a huge responsibility to restore the value of education in your communities. I also hope that and appreciate the enormous responsibility that you carry as UNIVEN ambassadors. As you go out to societies and communities to pursue your careers, to play your role as change agents, know that your actions and judgments will be understood or interpreted as a reflection of what you have learned at this great university. You will recall what Mark Twain said in his book, that man is a product of his training, close quote. I hope that we have contributed positively in shaping your character, your politics, your taste, your morals, and your aversions. There's no modicum of doubt in my mind that, armed with the knowledge and skills acquired at this university, we see amongst you future entrepreneurs, dynamic innovators, managers of corporates, educators of our children, caregivers of the sick and the old, shapers of the discourse, and the leaders of various structures of our society. I say this bolstered by overwhelming evidence of these university alumni in strategic positions in our society today, be that in academia, in the public service, sports, politics, and civil society. Our alumni are bright stars, glittering signs of life to the South African society and the world. I'm talking here of eminent people who previously sat where you're seated, who received the same qualification that you're receiving today. I think of people like Professor Azwindini Muronga, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science at the Nelson Mandela University, Professor Furupero Netswera, also the Dean of Management Sciences at the Durban University of Technology, Dr. Ruzani Nemtudi, the Director of Itemba Labs for accelerator-based sciences, and others who have passed through the corridors of this university. Mr. Ronald Lamula, the current Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, and Dr. Mashavane, the Director General in the Department of Justice and Correctional Services, as well as Justice Chifiwa Maumera, the Judge of the High Court, who are the product of this university. Ms. Wasitsana Kumalo, the former Miss South Africa, studied here also as well. The current Deputy Commissioner of the Competition Commission, Mr. Hadin Rachisusu, is also the alumni of this great institution. The Chief Executive Officer of PricewaterhouseCoopers South Africa, Ms. Shelley Machava, also passed through these corridors. Dr. Mboneni Mwope, the Deputy Director General in the Department of Science and Innovation, Professor Sylvester Mpandeli, Executive Manager at Water Research Commission, are also university alumnus. Some of the leading political analysts in South Africa, such as Mr. Prince Mashele, Levindo, studied political sciences here at this university. We are proud to have been part of Ms. Kutatso Munjane on her journey to becoming the first black women wheelchair tennis player to compete at Wimbledon. These and thousands of others that I've not mentioned continue to hoist the Univen flag in the society. I am confident that you too will be our shining ambassadors. I'll be pleased to meet you having assumed important roles in society, contributing meaningfully in the development of humanity. Let your education and qualification be an ornament in your prosperity, and remember always to hold on to ethics and values in your daily conduct. I wish you all well, and once again, congratulations on your achievement. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor and Principal, Dr. Bernard Ntambeleni. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we conclude our proceedings. And there are few announcements that I would like to make. We would like to invite our 4 PhD graduates to join the Vice Chancellor and Principal, together with other members of EMC and our executive deans, in front of the Life Sciences building for a group photo. And our choir knows where to assemble after the ceremony. And we are also mindful of the fact that we have invited guests in our midst. So I would like to request that you also join the academic procession at the Life Sciences building. And Univen Choir will lead us in the singing of the national anthem. And when the national anthem is being sung, we should all rise and all men should remove their caps or heads. And after dissolution of the congregation by the Vice Chancellor and Principal, we should remain standing until such time the last person in the procession has left the auditorium. So I have one last special announcement that I would like to make. But before I could do that, I would like to request both the DVC Research and Postgraduate Studies Professor Nosisi Feza and our DVC Teaching and Learning Professor Jan Crawford to take very good care of the Vice Chancellor. And the reason why I'm saying that is, I think it's important to indicate that I am the designated spokesperson of this university. And whatever I talk about the university in the media, I always get an endorsement from the Vice Chancellor. But in this particular announcement, I did not seek the Vice Chancellor's endorsement, and it is for this reason that I'm asking both DVCs to take care of the VC. And the reason being that if I had to approach the VC about this, it will actually defeat the whole purpose. And let me indicate that tomorrow, the 20th of November, it's a special day to the University of Venda. And what I'm laboring towards saying here, tomorrow, the 20th of November, it's our Vice Chancellor's birthday. So we would like to take advantage of your presence because we consider you to be part of us. So we have made arrangements with Univen Choir that before we conclude these proceedings, we have a special song dedicated to our Vice Chancellor. Univen Choir, do as we have agreed.
By virtue of authority entrusted to me, I dissolve this congregation of the University of Venda.
Lina ke bata impa kita bahu ya para kita badi puo yo we taba tu mana no adi fedi Lina ke bata impa kita bahu ya para kita badi puo yo we taba tu adi fedi zingiri, zingiri. Akanako, 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 akanako. Zabara iwe. Baruo, zabara. Zekedi, 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 zekedi iwe.